Hi, I'm Troy Bailey and welcome to the Comic Book Movie Collector's Guide, a show about collecting all things superhero cinema. And today we are looking at The Awesomes Season 1. So let's get into it. The Awesomes is an adult animated comedy television series that appeared on the streaming service Hulu. The first season of the show comprised of 10 22-minute episodes which aired from the 1st of August 2013 through to the 26th of September 2013. Season 1 was released in Australia on a 2-disc DVD set in 2013 by Madman Entertainment and was later released again with Season 2 and 3 in a complete series collection on a 3-disc DVD set and a 3-disc Blu-ray set on the 5th of June 2018 by Mill Creek Entertainment, with no 4K release as of this video. The show was created by Seth Meyers and Mike Shoemaker for Hulu, with Meyers and Shoemaker serving as executive producers alongside Lauren Michaels, with the show running for a total of 3 seasons from the 1st of October 2013 and ending on the 3rd of November 2015, with a 4th season not renewed due to low ratings. The show was passed around for many years before it got made, with the Sci-Fi Channel giving it a script commitment on the series in July 2007 and then later passing on the show to be picked up by MTV, giving a script commitment on June 2009, only for MTV to pass on it and Hulu giving it a green light for a 10-episode straight-to-series order on April 2013. The Awesomes had a strong association with Saturday Night Live, having starred many current and former SNL cast members, and Season 1 was sponsored by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, with the product appearing in a mid-credit scenes. The show follows a group of superheroes who step in and replace the members of a legendary but disbanding superhero team. Under new leadership, the Awesomes attempt to put themselves back together in the face of intense media and government skepticism. Okay, the disc in case. Now, I have the odds release, as there is no other release of the first season just on its own anywhere. They just did a release here in Australia, funnily enough. But yeah, I don't mind the look of that. That looks pretty cool. And the spine, I don't mind the spine actually. That really pops out on your shelf. That does. That's not bad at all. And the back, that kind of goes in with the theme as well. Nothing too spectacular, but just kind of fits in nicely with it all, with a nice look. As far as the discs is concerned, now I do like the look of this. They've gone a bit more effort inside. Look at that with the team there. And of course you've got Proc there on disc 1 and Dr. Malocchio on disc 2. Not a bad look at all. I do like that with the color discs. I always bang on about color discs, so they put a nice little bit of effort into this one. Yeah, and that's it. That's the only cover there is, because this was the only release. So overall, I don't mind the look of that, and I would probably give this a 7 out of 10. Okay, the story and script. Now, the first season revolves around 3 main plot points. The first being a team of ragtag superheroes that nobody wants anything to do with, trying to come together as a cohesive and effective superhero team. The second one being Proc, our main hero of the story. You know, he's just trying to prove to himself and his dad that he's a real superhero. And of course, the evil Dr. Malocchio trying to steal all the superpowers of all the heroes across the world. Now, I think they do a good job of telling these 3 stories, with them all wrapping up nicely at the end of the last episode of the season. Now, it does struggle at the start, and you know, trying to find its footing and find its way as a show. But I don't know of any other TV series that, you know, hits the ground running on its first ep. So for the Awesomes, it kind of hits its stride about the 4th or 5th episode. Now, this is primarily a superhero spoof show, and while there is, you know, comedy sprinkled throughout, and I did get some laughs out of it, don't get me wrong, it felt like there was probably a little more on the missus side when it comes to the humour, which is disappointing, as I love a good superhero parody show like, say, Super Mansion or the Robot Chicken DC specials, which are great. I absolutely love those. I do like Seth Meyers as well. I watch his late night show all the time, and this show does struggle a little on the humour side, but The story is what keeps you interested. Overall, I think this is a good attempt, but it still needs some fine tuning. But it still left me keen to see what they do in season 2, and that's what you want from a TV show. You know, people coming back to see what's going to happen next. So with that, overall, I would give this a 20 out of 30. From page to screen. Now, this show is not directly based on a comic book title of the same name, but it is a parody of comic book heroes and groups in general across the board. Now, credit to them though, they managed to create some very original heroes in a comic book industry that is full of copy after copy. So, thumbs up, very good job, fellas. And as the season goes on, you really start to see the characters grow and their personalities develop across with the team, which kind of sets up the next season very well. Like I said before, it's about episode 5, I feel, is when all the voice actors really start to hit their, sort of hone in on who their characters are and really hit their stride. With the likes of Seth Meyers as Proc, Isaac Barinholtz as Muscleman, Kean Thompson as Impresario, well, stuff that up, Rashad Jones as Hotwire, and Paula Pell as Gadget Gal, who for me was the standout. Her character was great and it was always provided for some good laughs. Overall, the characters were great and some great takes and spoofs on heroes and villains across the board. So with that, I would give it an 18 out of 20. Special features. Now, there is not a lot going on here with just one little featurette called What is the Awesomes, which is just Seth Meyers and Mike Shoemaker briefly talking about what the show is about, which was short, sweet, nothing special at all. Anyway, that's all you get with it. So with that, all I'm going to give this is a 1 out of 10. Critics review. Now, the critic score came in at 67% and the audience score was 54%. Yeah, look, I've got to say, this is where I thought the scores would be, though the critic scores were a little higher than I thought. And some of the reviews were just a little over the top in their praise, but I think your average viewing audience really summed it up. So with that, if we round it up, we get a score of 6 out of 10. My review, for me, this was a good try. Did they stick the landing? Not so much. But they gave it a good try. And am I interested in seeing some more? Of course I am. But I hope they really work on it a bit more for season 2, as there is some real potential there. But they need to kind of find their feet, that's all. Now, for me, I think my expectations were a little high, as I'm kind of using Super Mansion as the benchmark, and because I absolutely love that show, and it nailed it in so many levels. The Awesomes would have to really do a bit of work to kind of get to that standard for me, but this could be an alternative for anyone who didn't like Super Mansion, like I did, like I thought Super Mansion was. But for me, they gave it a good solid crack, and there was stuff there I loved, but some things just fell flat. I thought, I'm still keen to see season 2, and I hope it's only onward and upwards for the show. So for that, I would give it a score of 12 out of 20. Final thoughts. So first up is collectability, and if we look at the collector scale, I would say this would be more for your comic book fan and up. Not so much for everybody, but I think most comic book fans would like it in some regard, and would probably want a copy for their collection. Now, as far as availability is concerned, this one is on the average side of things. At least it is here in Australia. It's not so hard to find online, but probably a little harder to find in store, and not exactly common everywhere else in the world. But if you do want to get it, you're probably better off getting the complete collection that was released in the US. Now, as far as your average price is concerned, you're looking at somewhere around the $8 to $25 mark on DVD, but of course there is no Blu-ray and no 4K. Now, for the final score, we get a grand total of 64 out of 100. Pretty average score. Definitely not something for everybody, but I think this one the comic book fans will get a few laughs out of. So if you like poking your fun at superheroes and comic books in general, then this one's for you.
We weren't funding the name. We were funding a team of top-level heroes. And with all due respect, you ain't top-level no more.
Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, why not hit the like, subscribe and notifications buttons, as it really helps the channel out, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now also let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this series and if you managed to pick up a copy for your collection. Also, if you'd like to request a review or something else you'd like to see on the show, you can always contact me by email at comicbookmoviecollector@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on the socials at comicbookmoviecollector on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. All the links will be down below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.